Welcome along. And look, this is just a wee bit of a. We're going to shoot off the side here a wee bit and talk a little bit about divorce rates and divorce rates being part of the way of analysing, looking at relationships that have stuck out a period of time or a way we can measure how long some of these relationships have last, which in turn gives us some sort of feedback on how these people have been able to commit and stick together for a period of time. There's no right or wrong measure here, but the statistics are just giving us some feedback on it, and it's interesting to look that the peak period of divorce was from 95 to 2005, where it hit a massive peak over that 10-year period, and it's actually come back considerably since then. But it's nowhere near. It's still double of what it was in this pre-70s, the amount of divorce rates. So what's really happened? We've started looking at relationships in different terms, in different terminologies, and in a different way. Through the earlier and later period of the 90s and 80s and 90s, where it really excelled, we were looking at communication and building on the couple. And the focus was on building the couple and communication, etc. And it's still battered around in some areas as that today. But in reality, what slows it up is psychologists and marriage therapists got together and started to look at what was working in the relationships that are working, not what wasn't working. And because previously they'd always looked, the communication's poor, etc. But in the relationships that were working, there was a whole lot of other things in there, and there was fun, there was independence, there was growth, there was development in the individual person. And this is what I'd like to bring back to you now, really. And it's about a relation. When any relationship's in trouble, it's not about bringing the people closer together. It's actually dissecting them apart and going and looking at each person as an individual. Because what tends to happen in a relationship, the people grow as an individual until they become in a relationship, and then they start growing in that relationship, and that restricts and designates their growth as an individual as much as anything. But so once they're in a relationship, that's going to happen. So when you look at the divorce rates or the number of divorces in a pro rata with age, the older the people get, there's less number of divorces, which comes back to this sense of maturity or the amount of personal growth you've been able to do prior to marriage or prior to this long-term relationship. So it really comes to measure real in logical sense that the personal growth wasn't enough prior to marriage. It doesn't mean we're getting married too young, which is the clear principle that jumps out and says, oh shit, we're getting married too young. And I'm going, yeah, but we're actually stopped growing as individuals. In their marriages, we need to now to develop, and counsellors need to, and counsellors and coaches and working in this field need to start to look at alternatives and how about growing the individual, because the problem isn't marriage or the concept of marriage or the way marriage is. It's the fact that it stops growing as individuals because of what marriage, how it's based on communication, based on commitment, based on all the things that would join us as a couple, but the identity of the individual is being lost. And that's the key point here, and that's what I wanted to look at, and we'll talk about this later on, and it just gives you a little bit of insight on what we're going to be talking about getting balance in a relationship, and balance for yourself, and balance for the relationship, and how that works to grow your relationship, to make it more passionate, more exciting, more loving, and a longer sense of commitment to each other through those things being high in your values. So until next time, just a little bit of food for thought for today. Bye.